Fresh is the word.
I'm Jim Duggan, got long wood for plenty hoes. I keep it fresher than fresh, but you already know. You suckers bummy, I'm money, I got a ton of flows. My weed loud like a motherfucking thunder roll. Your shit quiet like you ballin' on a budget though. We see your kicks and we laugh and yellin' what are those? You see me shining like a suit on puffy. You know my grind and shit is too strong, buddy. That's why the dude call money. I be stuntin' like it's nothing at all, cause it's nothing to me. It's probably something to y'all. Trying to smoke like me, then come and fuck with your dog. Got a closet full of kicks, you can't cop it them all. And I'm fresher than the freshest, you can tell it's in my essence. Bitch, you see the way I'm rapping, yes I do this shit to death. I tell I'm running out of breath, I tell somebody cut a check. But either way you know it's fresh, and either way you know it's fresh. Fresh, we fresh. Fresh, goddammit, we fresh.
Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast, the podcast about pro wrestling, combat sports, and music. I'm your host, K Fresh. We've got a great show for you today. I got a big guest from a big band, Mike D'Antonio, the guitarist from the band Killswitch Engage. They're a great metal band, been around since about 1999. Mike was one of the founding members of the band. Last year, they came out with a new album called Incarnate. And we'll talk about where they got that name from because it comes from wrestling. Me and Mike talked for about an hour about mostly wrestling. New Japan, Ring of Honor, and definitely Lucha Underground. And definitely a little bit of WWE sprinkled in there. But, you know, this guy is a hardcore wrestling fanatic and had a great time, you know, discussing, analyzing, breaking down a lot of stuff going on in like the whole world of pro wrestling. So it was definitely cool to talk with him, and you know, definitely go support Killswitch Engage. They have a vast discography of really great albums. Anything, just buy anything. It's a fucking good band. Before we get to that interview, I just want to remind you how you can support the podcast. You can always go to freshasthepodcast.com and share any of the links from the website on any of your social medias. You can always subscribe to Fresh as the Word on Stitcher and iTunes. Just search Fresh as the Word and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to give us a rating, preferably 5 stars, go ahead and do that. And if I see that you've given a good rating, I'll just read it on air. Definitely thank you for the support. You can follow Fresh as the Word on Twitter and Instagram at Fresh as the Word 1. That's Fresh as the Word, then the number 1. And also you can go to Facebook and go to facebook.com/Fresh as the Podcast. Give us a follow and a like on there. And feel free to post any comments on the Fresh as the Word Facebook page. And also, if you want to ever support the podcast in any other ways, if you go to freshasthepodcast.com, you can click on support the podcast, and there's a PayPal link you can donate to. And there's an Amazon link on there that you can use anytime you make any Amazon purchases. It doesn't change anything on your end, but it does throw back a little commission my way. So thank you for all the support that everybody's been giving me thus far. We're just trying to build up this really dope, different sort of podcast. You know, I talk about, we end up talking about a lot of things, but you know, it all centers around wrestling, MMA, and we dash in a little hip hop, music, whatever, into it all, because those are the things that I'm very much interested in. Before we get to this interview with Mike D'Antonio, I definitely want to remind you about some great guys that I know who run a cool screen printing business out of Corktown in Detroit. It's Undeniable Press. If you need anything screen printed, t-shirts, posters, whatever, just give them a shout. You can go to facebook.com/undeniable.press and give them a holler. There's some great guys, and they do some fantastic work. And also, they also run their own clothing line that's pro wrestling themed. It's called 20 by 20 Apparel, and they got a lot of dope, really dope wrestling themed t-shirts that you could check out. If you go to their website, which is 20x20apparel.com. That's the number 20x, the number 20 again, and then apparel.com. They have a whole line of great wrestling themed t-shirts. So give them a check out, and holler and tell them that K Fresh sent you. All right, let's get to the interview with Mike D'Antonio of Killswitch Engage. Yeah, thanks for taking time out to do this interview. When I was kind of fishing around for things people to have on this podcast, publicist Amy was like, "Man, Mike D from Killswitch Engage is a big wrestling nerd," and I was like, "Hell yeah, cool, man! I want to talk to him."
I've done a few podcasts here and there, or even just interviews about wrestling, and usually when it's time to end, it doesn't. I keep on going for like another hour, so I'm more happy to talk about wrestling than music stuff, to tell you the truth.
Awesome. But yeah, before we get into the wrestling stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about the music. You guys have had some.
I mean, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, there's
it's a thing I just get asked about the most, so I'd rather talk about something I'm stoked on watching all the time, you know?
Oh, I get it. Like most anybody that I know that are big wrestling nerds, like that are also musicians, they're like, "Man, let's just talk about wrestling, man. I'm sick of talking about this other stuff, man." But get into some music stuff first. The newest album, Incarnate, has been out for almost a year now. What's been the reaction with it?
Going very well. I mean, all you can really do is create something and then just put it out there and see how it gravitates towards the fans. And, you know, when we look out, we play the new songs, kids are singing along and super happy. So to judge it by that, I'd say it's going pretty darn well.
Yeah, your original singer, Jesse Leach, has been back with the band for the past couple albums. When you sort of think back to the original time when you first started this band, how does that compare to this time with him?
Well, I mean, we're just kids way back when. We started 17 years ago, something like that. I mean, back when bands only lasted a couple years. So you just get together with friends and see what happens, really. If there's a spark, there's a spark. If not, no big deal. You move on to the next band. And this is one of those things I never thought would exceed my expectation as far as longevity. It's pretty cool to last this long. But, I mean, as you know, 17 years of backstory, definitely things get a lot of twisted and changed and a lot different than they are now. Jesse left the band and it was kind of a bummer. But you can understand that touring's not for everybody. His heart was definitely in the band, but everything else around being in bands like touring and being away from home is grating on people. It doesn't always work for everybody.
Definitely.
And it didn't work for him at the time. And we moved on. Howard Jones stepped in really quickly, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after Jesse left. We were like, oh, we're screwed. No one comes back from a singer leaving. But Roadrunner Records, called us into the office. They took us under their wing and they said, "We don't want you guys to break up. We think you're too valuable and too good musicians to let this go to waste. So we're going to help you find a new singer and we're going to figure this thing out." And we had already had tours planned and stuff. So we thought we were dead in the water, but it was really cool to get that emotional backing from a record label, because you don't really hear that about record labels. You just hear how nasty they are and how they
right.
rip you off. But these guys were, in the beginning, just they were on our side, and it was really cool to have someone on our side, especially at a time like that. And now, fast forward, things didn't work out with Howard. That's just the way things go. We're still friends with him, and he's doing another band, and it's all good. But Jesse's back in the mix, and happier than ever. It's refreshing, to change members, especially a singer, the focal point of the band. There's nothing a bit more refreshing than getting a whole new, song melody and lyrical content thrown back into the mix. yeah, it's just exciting. We were a bit stagnant towards the end of the Howard Jones type eras. It was just tour, write a record,
Right.
tour. And we were collapsing inwards. And now that Jesse has come back and breathed new life into this thing, it feels like a brand new band. And we're just excited to be on the road and doing this thing again. And he sounds great. Like, he had some issues way back when with his voice, and that really led to a lot of his overthinking things and
Yeah.
cynicism about being able to be a singer for a band at all. And he's gone through many, many changes and really grown up, and he's learned his craft. So it's exciting for him to be able to pull off what he wants to pull off with the band. He can do all the Howard stuff. It's pretty awesome, man. He's on it, and it feels great.
Was
Which
that
is the long answer to your question.
It's all good. Was that original transition from Jesse to Howard and having sort of have Roadrunner be so helpful with it? Was that like one of the first indications that this band might be something that could last a long time, or was there anything else that popped in your head, an event that you were like, you know what, holy shit, this could be something we could do for a long time?
No, you never think that, ever. You never think this is going to last long. You always know, or have in the back of your mind, that it could fall apart at any second. It's like a marriage. These things just fall apart really fast, overnight usually, and over something really stupid. So luckily we have really good contact with each other. We talk about problems, issues that we have, and we're really good friends, which you don't hear too much bands say, or if they do, they're lying.
Right.
But we just really get along with each other, and we can talk things out if there's any weirdness or stuff like that. I'm not sure if that answered your question, though.
Oh, no, definitely. I read that you do all the artwork for the band. How did you first originally get into doing the artwork for the band, and where do you sort of drive your inspiration to be able to, like, this is what I want to do for this project?
Right on. Well, as far as design goes, I used to hang out with bands way back when I was a kid, and they'd be playing music, and I thought it was the coolest thing, but I didn't have any sort of musical ability, or I never picked up an instrument. I just liked hanging out and moshing in people's basements and stuff like that. Just, little house parties or whatever. And
right.
It was back when, punk rock was real punk rock, and metal was a dirty word, and hardcore was fucking cool. And my friends I was going through a vocational high school at the time, and my friends needed flyers and stickers and 7-inch covers and demo covers and stuff. And there was a shop called Graphic Arts, and there was printing presses there and all sorts of things that I could use to help my friends and get their band further. So, like, that's, I guess, how I fell into graphic arts, was helping out my friends and really liking layout and putting things together, but not really putting two and two together that it was graphic design. I mean, this is way back before I even knew what graphic design was. I just knew that I was putting these things together, and I was pretty stoked on them. And then when it came time to graduate and go to college, I was like, I think I like graphic design. I don't know. Printing presses kind of suck, and I'm not sure if I like doing, making plates for presses, or even working in the press room for that matter at all.
Right.
And I just dove headfirst into it. And for a project for college, it was to make up your own graphic design company and make logos for it, and sort of like make all the cool stuff, all the accoutrement that you might give out for this thing to promote it.
Yeah.
And I came up with Dark Icon Design way back then in '92, and I've been doing it ever since, and helping out bands and doing a lot of graphic design for everybody. And it's natural to have the ability to do graphic design for your own bands.
Right.
And I've done it the whole time and kept it cheap and kept it DIY. And it was just, like I said, natural just to start doing it, because no one else was going to do it unless I did it. So it got done.
Awesome. When sort of thinking about what what these covers should look like and everything, what sort of pops in your head?
Well, I mean, the band is a client. It's not just me saying this is what needs to happen.
Right.
So I got to make those guys happy. A lot of times, weird ideas that are very intricate that I have to whittle down into, I guess it's smallest form or most iconic form, and try to build back from that. I use a lot of photography because I can't draw. I'm a terrible illustrator, which sucks. Being a graphic designer, it's like you have both. You're kind of this unicorn that can do anything. But
right.
So I rely on photographs from around the world because I'm around. I go everywhere, take photographs of any matter that I want, and I have folders filled with pretty much anything you can possibly think of. So it's at hand, and I can use it. It's my stuff, and I use that in place of illustrations. But mostly for covers or whatever. I love horror movies. Those are my favorite things to watch. And of course, wrestling is another one of those things where I pick up things along the way and kind of infuse them into the Kill Switch world. The name Incarnate, for instance, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Incarnate sounds pretty cool. I'm going to text Jesse and see what he thinks of that. And he's like, oh, I love it, but I didn't tell him it was wrestling related at all.
That's awesome.
And then in Ring of Honor, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a valet, and he's got glasses and long hair, and I think he's with Jay Lethal.
Oh, Truth Martini?
Yeah. He carries around like a Bible-looking thing, like a book, right?
Yeah, yes.
But to me, it looked like a pizza box. And I was like, oh, man, I wonder if we could do a pre-order and shove a bunch of crap into a pizza box, and that would be like our pre-order for the new record. And that's what happened.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Now that you've you kind of started talking about wrestling, it's a good segue into mainly what I wanted to talk with you about. So you just mentioned WWE, Brock Lesnar, and also Ring of Honor. So I'm assuming that you not only do you watch WWE stuff, but you pay attention to the other companies, the indies and whatnot. What are some of your favorite?
I prefer the indies or whatever.
Okay, yeah. So what are some
WWE?
of your, yeah,
I have my entire life. I was an ECW guy growing up. And I only was forced to watch WWE because all my favorites were going over there. RVD is my favorite of all time. And as soon as he started being Mr. Monday Night, I had to switch over and watch the kind of, I don't know, I think it's a way more tame and slightly more boring. And, some of these plot lines are designed for 3-year-olds. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, definitely. But, no, what are, these days, what are some of your favorite indie companies?
Lucha Underground is my favorite.
Okay.
By far. It has some of the best action. Every single show you watch, there's something where you just can't believe you saw. And I love that about that company. That reminds me of the old ECW where or even like a Howard Stern, you just don't know. If you don't watch that one day, you could miss one of the coolest things that you may never see again or hear again. So I buy Lucha Underground and have it archived because I like to rewatch it all the time. I play it for dudes on the bus or driving around. I'm getting my roadies into it, and there's talk of maybe going to one of the shows, the house shows. I'd be stoked to do something like that. But Ring of Honor is pretty rad. It's really fun to watch. New Japan is probably my second favorite.
Oh, yes.
Really close to Lucha Underground because it has been so good. That Kenny Omega match, holy smokes, the other day.
Oh my goodness!
At that pay-per-view was just unbelievable. And I agree with a lot of people that say that could be match of the year because that was phenomenal.
Oh, incredible.
Some of the greatest spots I've seen in a while.
Incredible. Man. Yeah, kind of going back to the to Lucha Underground, I really enjoy that product because they're not trying to be like anything else. They're trying to be their own sort of entity, and they're bringing in sort of the storylines also that kind of kind of tie into like that sort of Mexican mysticism that you see in other shows like on El Rey Network or that are similar to it. Like, you know, like even like the movie and TV show Till Dusk Till Dawn, like they have similar things in it, you know, and that's what I enjoy about it. Who are some of your favorite wrestlers on there?
On Lucha Underground?
Yes.
Let's see. Pentagon Dark is amazing.
Oh, yes.
Prince Puma, Phoenix, the High Flyers, I love. I haven't been caught up with season 3. 1 blew me away. 2 was even better. 3 kind of left me feeling a little bit weird. I only watched probably the first 4 or 5 because I really save them for when I'm on tour because it's something to look forward to every night after a show to watch 3 or 4 Lucha Undergrounds.
Yeah.
But so I'm not really sure of any of the new people from season 3, but those dudes are so much fun to watch for sure. And who doesn't love Katrina?
Oh, dude. Exactly, man. And that kind of goes to like my next point is that what I love about Lucha Underground is the way that they use the women that are a part. They're on this equal platform with everybody else, and to a certain extent,
Star.
yeah, like you have like Sexy Star, and to a certain extent, some like a Katrina, they're like the leader. They're like they're in this you know, bigger level than everybody else. This sort of controlling level. This sort of level of respect, and that's what I absolutely love about Lucha Underground is like some, you know, like WWE's did the whole women's revolution, and there's other companies that are infusing more women to their company. With Lucha, it just a part of it. They're not women. They're just a part of it. Have you seen the Black Lotus tribe on Lucha yet?
I think they may have been in the last episode that I watched, but I've seen smatterings here and there of some really cool stuff that they were doing.
Yeah, it was really dope. Like I think Black Lotus, she herself was like a part of like the first our last few episodes of season 2. And but she didn't do any wrestling or anything. But in season 3, there's actually episodes dedicated to her and 3 of her her other, you know, women that are actually in a match, you know, and actually in doing stuff, and it's incredible.
Now, do you think WWE doesn't do that sort of thing, men against women, because of domestic violence? Are they afraid of that, or the implications, or?
I think part of that is that they don't want sort of to look like it's a domestic violence thing.
It makes it seem like they think they're too macho, you know, like, oh, the guys will obviously beat the crap out of the girls, so we can't do that because they don't stand a chance. And that's the way it appears to me, and I think that's so wrong.
Because, like, if you go on the indies, there's so many fun matches that are intergender matches. Like, have you seen any of the stuff with what's her name? Oh my god, I'm blanking out right now. Johnny Gargano's wife.
No, I haven't.
Oh, why am I blanking out on her name? She's like one of my favorites. Oh, Candice LeRae. No,
I haven't seen any of her stuff.
Oh,
I do love Ivelisse. She's pretty awesome.
Oh yes. But yeah, no, there's a lot of dope, like there's more and more really dope like women's wrestlers on the indies that do like crazy shit with the men. And but you'll never see that in WWE because they're I think it's more of like that they don't want to look like it's like sort of a domestic violence sort of thing, you know, men.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because China did it and it wasn't really that big of a deal, but I think it was because they thought she looked manly so she could take one of those guys. But
well, they did some wild shit there during that time too, man. They did some wild shit during that time. I don't know if you remember it, but there's this one episode of, it was probably on Raw or something, where like Austin was just laying it in with a chair to Lita. Like, it was crazy. Like, even now it's kind of cringeworthy. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
like this shit kind of crazy. Um,
Hmm.
you also mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's like one of my favorites too. And Wrestle Kingdom was recently, and like you're mentioning the Okada versus Omega match, which blew everybody away, man.
Phew, yeah. I mean, there's so much great talent over there. It's so fun to watch every single episode. Like Lucha Underground, there's something fun, and the fact that they trade, Ring of Honor people too. You're going to know somebody on there. It's not like you're going to watch it and not know anything that's going on.
Right.
It sucks that they play episodes from 6 months ago on TV, but I don't really care. I watch it for the wrestling. I don't give a crap about plot lines or whatever.
Right. They've been, in Access, they've been a little bit better in catching up to more closer events. Like,
I think they were forced to play Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
So many people were talking about it because that was a massive jump in timeline to put that on real quick.
Yeah, I actually subscribe to NJWP World, so I just watch everything with the Japanese commentary. They do some English commentary though on the major events now, on all the major.
God, how can you not want to hear JR? He's my favorite. Oh my God.
Oh, I know. I love
commentator in the business.
I know. I loved like when it was originally JR and I know when it was originally Josh Barnett and Mauro Ranallo doing it.
Yeah, it's great.
That was incredible. And the funny thing is like listening to them call like New Japan matches kind of was the reason why I transitioned to liking MMA more, because they were always dropping these little nuggets about pride and other things, because Sakuraba was wrestling in New Japan at the time, and he's like the Babe Ruth of Japanese MMA. And then Josh Barnett, he's an MMA fighter, so you'd always hear all these little nuggets of just like facts and stuff from the MMA world that they kind of infused into the New Japan broadcast. And I'm like, oh dude, this is like, I'm gonna go check some of this other stuff out. But yeah, like,
I was actually amazed at how knowledgeable Josh Barnett was, coming from the complete other world. It seems like he may have wrestled in the past. I don't know if he did or not, but
yeah, he has a lot of knowledge in regards to that. He's actually been in TNA recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know him. He's a really nice guy. Like, we'll run into him at shows and stuff here and there, and he's really fun to talk to, but I haven't talked to him since I found out that he was doing the voice for New Japan. So I'd love to pick his brain about some cool stuff going on over there.
Yeah, he's a big metalhead. He does he like reviews like metal albums and stuff like that. He's big into heavy metal.
Oh yeah, we tell him to stay out of the pit, but he still goes in.
That's awesome. But yeah, recently I guess he got like flagged by USADA for some sort of a banned substance or whatever, so he hasn't been fighting in the UFC at all. But he did go.
The last time, do you remember the last time he got cited? I think it was an Affliction thing. They were starting an Affliction fighting group.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was like 7 or 8 years ago. He was on our bus the night before.
Oh, right.
And I don't know if it was because he was hanging out with us that he got popped, but that's what happened. He was on our bus, and then all of a sudden we found out the next day that he wasn't able to have his match because he got in trouble.
Oh, dude. That's crazy. But yeah, I guess recently he got flagged by USADA, and so I don't know what's it's become of that, but I know he did show up in like Impact Wrestling. It did actually win the title, but I don't know if it's aired yet because they taped those things ahead of time.
Poor Impact Wrestling.
They're right, but they're trying to revamp their stuff again. They have new owners, and they're trying some new things. So
I
hopefully
think they should just stop it and rebrand and start anew, because there's just so much baggage that goes along with that
I
place.
think that's what they're trying to do to a certain extent, is rebrand and sort of, last year was really, really good for them to a certain extent with the whole Broken Matt Hardy thing.
Yes.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. I thought it was great. Matt Hardy was always sort of a flat character to me.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's like doing it. He's like pulling it off, and he's his own dude, and he's not trying to imitate anybody. He's not trying to be a tough guy. I think it works. He finally found himself.
He totally sort of changed how like wrestling people talk. Like anytime you hear the word delete or obsolete, like doesn't matter where you're at, like wrestling fans are gonna pop.
Definitely. I don't like how the delete sign that people are doing though looks kind of like a Sieg Heil. I think that's a little weird, but
It does actually. It really does. It's a little.
I think we can stop that part, but everything else is great.
Definitely. But no, I hopefully with Impact, they can kind of reinvigorate everything again, and
it's sad. They've had so much great talent go through there that it just didn't work out. I mean, that's the reason why I even started watching to begin with. AJ Styles was amazing. Samoa Joe was killing people. That whole first couple years of TNA was great. It was fantastic, and then it just fell apart.
Yeah, those first few years with all the more homegrown talent, the X division was really dope. To me, what always turned me off was like the older guys that they brought in there.
Yeah,
everything.
Right. As soon as Hogan started showing his face and Nash, I don't know, it got weird again.
Yeah, all that stuff with like Sting and anybody that's older, like, was just really like corny to me. Like, I didn't mind Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle's a really good worker and everything. But
he's fantastic. Yeah, he's great. It's funny that he's been there longer than he was in WWE.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
very weird.
And he had a lot of great stuff in there, but it was just like those older guys and it was just like
you can't say Sting without having me have a cringe go up my back with what WWE did to that guy. It is a crime. I was never a WCW fan, so I was never really a Sting fan, but I knew about him, and I knew how great of a wrestler he was, and just how WWE brought him in and buried him just made me want to cry. And then just Rollins putting an end to his career so fast, that was just all screwy. Not only did they bury him, but they broke him.
Yeah, it was awful. And the thing is during that time, you had Sting and you had The Undertaker in the same place at the same time. And everybody wanted to see that match. And Undertaker really wasn't doing anything that was important. And the whole Sting versus Seth Rollins wasn't exactly an important match. It was just like, why couldn't we have seen Sting versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania? That would have been awesome.
I feel like they were building towards that, but then, then Rollins kind of took that away.
That was just that was sad though. But I wasn't ever the biggest Sting fan at all. I always thought he was kind of corny, but for the most part, bringing him back, like I was just like, all right, let's give this guy this last run.
Yeah, you can not be a fan of him and still be aware of his legacy and how much he meant to people, and then take that and then see what WWE did. It's just a crime. It's a total crime.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of going back to the New Japan stuff. I've been super impressed on, where New Japan has gone in the past year or so. Because you go back and they lost AJ Styles, they lost Shinsuke Nakamura, Anderson and Gallows left, and they were like, okay, like these were top guys for them, and you're like, okay, what are they gonna do next? And it was a little flat for a few months after that, but what I liked was that all the right guys sort of stepped up. You had Kenny Omega who stepped up. You had Tetsuya Naito and the whole Los Ingobernables de Japan crew. They stepped up and they became something. You even had other people in the Bullet Club like Takahashi and what's his name, and a few of the other guys step up and be and sort of take bigger roles. And by the end of last year, it was an incredible company, and it all led up to this amazing Wrestle Kingdom a month ago, which that whole card was amazing.
It also seems like they filled holes that they had with the Ring of Honor people, and what a great exchange that was to see their talent come over. And to see the Young Bucks in that arena is just, it's awesome. Those guys are the best thing going right now, I think.
Oh, yeah, and seeing someone like Adam Cole at the Tokyo Dome, it's just like, holy shit, man. like this is incredible, man. And that Wrestle Kingdom card was just like there was 8 titles that were on the line that whole night, and like every match was just like incredible, man. And especially that last 4 match match run was just like, holy shit.
You know what? It's funny. I watched the Omega match and then couldn't get through the rest of it because it was so good that I was just like, this just isn't as good as the one I just saw. So I had to put it away for a little while and not watch it. I got to finish it up.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like, that Okada Omega match was so good that I've only watched it once because I'm like, it's like one of those treats that you have that you like feel like you don't deserve to ever get again or something. So you're like, I can't watch it again. I already deserved it once. I already got it once, like I can't watch. But what's been dope though is since Wrestle Kingdom, there's been the infusion of Suzuki Gun crew into New Japan. Like the Bullet Club's kind of taking a break from it. And you have Minoru Suzuki that he's been kind of with his whole crew coming in and sort of wreaking havoc. Have you seen any clips of that yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, dude, everything since since the day after Wrestle Kingdom when they do that New Year's Dash event at Kurikan Hall, it's been pretty awesome. It's been basically, there hasn't been any like sort of Bullet Club stuff since Wrestle Kingdom, but you have this whole other crew of guys that I think they've been they've been wreaking havoc over at Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan. So they like when you get it when that finally comes up on Access, would hopefully be soon. All that's going to be really dope. Like they've been having some dope programming recently.
Nice. Awesome.
With in Ring of Honor, who are some of your favorites in Ring of Honor?
Let's see. I like Dalton Castle. He's pretty rad. He's fun to watch. He's hilarious. Yeah. It reminds me of Adam from my band, just having a lot of fun and taking the piss out of everything. The Briscoes are brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the tag teams actually more than most of the singles guys over there. Young Bucks, Briscoes.
Yeah.
I've never seen either of them have bad matches.
Right.
It's so much fun to watch.
I really like War Machine over there.
Sure.
Yeah, they're really fun tag team to watch. Like 2 big guys, but they can they're really agile and they can get around the ring and they look like these Viking guys.
Yeah, they do a good job. I kind of like that they don't really have storylines going on there either. It's just give me some wrestling. I don't care about any of that other crap. I don't care how they connect. It doesn't matter to me. Just show me fun stuff. Entertain me.
Yeah, I think that's always been sort of like the good thing about a Ring of Honor and also like New Japan is that they keep the storylines minimal and basically around competition. The storylines that they do have are around competition. Sometimes they'll step out of the bounds a little bit to something else, but it's still like pretty simple and about a competitive nature in regards to it. It might be like, I hate your guts and I want to kill you or whatever, but at the same time, it's still like they keep it simple. There's nothing like too convoluted like you'd see in the WWE or anything like that.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than WWE playing down things to the 5th grade level. It's just silly. I'll be watching it, and my wife will walk in and say, "What in the hell are you watching, and why are you watching that?" And I'll say, "I have no clue, but they're going to wrestle eventually."
That's like these days. That's what happens on Raw a lot and too much. SmackDown is a little bit more competitive, and they do a lot more wrestling, and that's why I enjoyed like the SmackDown brand a lot more recently.
Did you see the pay-per-view last night then?
Oh yes, and I was super happy because after years of being dicked around, Bray Wyatt finally got the WWE Championship.
That was great. It made me smile. I was like, wow, I don't know if they believe in him, and I'm sure he's just a stepping stone for somebody else to grab it.
Right.
But at least they're giving a little pat on the back to a guy who's put in his time.
Oh, definitely. And I was super happy when, like, at the end of Elimination Chamber, it was like the last two guys are like my two favorite guys in WWE, Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles. I was like, holy shit, sweet.
It got really electric. The crowd was going nuts for that whole Elimination Chamber, and that it kind of made that match seem even more important, which was really cool. But, you take a step back an hour before and Natalia's match, and there's crickets. It was so weird. Like, they only really cared about that last match. And to tell you the truth, after watching that pay-per-view, it's kind of the only thing I liked about the whole night as well.
Yeah, it was pretty. The pay-per-view as a whole was pretty much a snoozer. But I did like the Randy Orton and Luke Harper match.
Yeah, it was good. I watched it twice because I was kind of on the phone, and I just kept hearing, this is awesome. I was like, oh, that was cool. Wait, I got to check this out in real time. Sometimes you just start thinking about other things, and wrestling goes to the back burner. But
right.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure.
The whole like Wyatt family storyline recently has actually been really good. It kind of reinvigorated like Randy Orton's sort of presence here. But what I think the best part about it is that it's finally highlighting Luke Harper. And that match last night, even defeat, highlighted how good of a ring worker Luke Harper really is.
Because he doesn't look like a wrestler, period, at all. He just looks like a homeless guy that might hang out near your house.
Right.
And to have him actually show off the goods was fantastic. You're right, exactly right.
No, it is incredible. And one other part of the pay-per-view that I was really happy about was the fact that Naomi beat Alexa Bliss and finally got.
Yeah, that was great. I love Alexa Bliss. I could watch her all day long.
Me too.
And that wasn't creepy.
Me.
but it was cool to see. It was cool to see the other chick get the rub finally after being in the company 12 years or something.
Oh, she's been a part of so much like really bad storylines and gimmicks and stuff like that. But she's like one of the best. Like she's athletically one of the best in the company, and she's done so much work. So much good work on her own that it's so good to finally see her, get that belt.
Not that it's an easy way to judge, but I love watching when these dudes get the belt for the first time and their reaction when they're finally holding that thing over their heads in the middle of the ring right after the match. Bray Wyatt, I could see smiles cracking here and there. Naomi, nothing. She just had a blank look, and I'm sure it was just because they told her to not play it up, but I thought it was a little weird that she wasn't a bit happier after so many years of not getting anything and finally getting a piece of the pie. Well,
she started kind of crying a little bit after it when they finally started talking to her. Like she started crying, like showed that sort of emotion. But it was really cool to like finally see her get a good rub in the company.
Yeah, it's always exciting. The people that have paid their dues to finally give it to them a little bit. Just, I mean, even if you're going to take it away in the next week, just show them a little love, you know?
Yeah, like they did with Zack Ryder at the WrestleMania.
Yeah, that poor guy.
He was so happy though. He wins the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. He's like the happiest dude in the world, and then he has to drop it the next night.
And how bad was the Finn Balor thing? That guy could have been right now the main player.
Oh, that
and just getting hurt, man. That hurt me. That made me really sad because he just had the whole future ahead of him, and hopefully when he comes back, they'll have some faith in him. But you never know.
Right, and I feel like that injury screwed up a lot of things in regards to on the Raw brand. I think,
and I would imagine Vince takes that to heart. If you're screwing with his whole outlook up until WrestleMania, and something, it's not his fault. It's not Finn Balor's fault, obviously, but it does happen, and it does put the screws into it. And I'm sure that as soon as those guys get that name brought up, Finn Balor, they think of, the guy that fucked us over. Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, Samoa Joe's on the main roster finally. It's really kind of surreal to see him on like Raw.
Yeah, it was great. They brought him in well. Hopefully they don't destroy him, turn him into Breezango or whatever their name is. But I love that they brought him up. It sucks that he hurt Rollins. Now Rollins is out for his second WrestleMania. But that stuff happens. It didn't look like Joe was being anything above character or he was intentionally trying to hurt him. It just things like that happen, and now it's a bummer that Rollins has a knee that is like a problem. It's the same knee as last time.
It's possible that he might be able to be back for WrestleMania. They're saying that it might not be a series they originally thought.
Do you want to see that, though, and have him re-injure himself again?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, even when he first came back, when he was starting to do some of the moves that he did to get hurt, like everybody would kind of cringe, be like, "Oh, yeah," like, "Ugh." But I do feel like they did bring Samoa Joe up to the main roster in a really good way, where it made him look important. He's
got to be an ultra bad, nasty guy. He's got to be just like that mercenary that just takes dudes down, and that's the way he kind of was way back in early TNA, and that's a Samoa Joe I love, the nasty guy that's just going to beat the crap out of people. The Joe's going to kill you guy.
And that's what he plays best. Like anytime he tries to do any sort of babyface role, it's like not as good, You
don't want to see Samoa Joe smile. I'm sorry. I know he can, and I know he does it often, but I don't want to see it on TV.
No, not at all. Not at all. So yeah, I'm glad they sort of brought some important showed that he's an important like figure, that he's somebody not to be messed with, and hopefully that will like lead to like some really cool shit like in WWE with Samoa Joe. It's just still surreal, just like seeing AJ
How good
Styles.
would it be, Lesnar versus Samoa Joe?
Man, that's what everybody wants to see is that match, because these two just big guys, that just like to destroy shit.
I'm really nervous about what they're going to do to Goldberg. I know they're just pumping him up for some really nasty thing that's going to happen, probably WrestleMania. But yeah, that guy. And he's on a high right now, but who knows? He's going to drop really fast. If they can do that to Sting, they can do that to Goldberg.
And he is, and he keeps on agreeing to being on more Raws and more television. When like this thing originally was only maybe supposed to be a spot like appearance or whatever, like one match or whatever, and like Goldberg keeps on like agreeing to be on more of the programming. So
hey, money talks until he gets seriously hurt. What is he, like 53, 55, something like that? I mean, he's probably pretty fragile. Even though he looks great, he looks fantastic.
He looks fantastic, but you could tell there's been a few times when he's like tried to do some old stuff and like irked himself.
Yeah, he doesn't have that stamina in the ring either. I mean, that's probably why they're only doing 2-minute matches, because he really can't keep it up. He gets blown out pretty fast, it appears.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens with Goldberg and everything. But I the whole thing with Brock and Goldberg, it's been cool that like we finally see these things where like it isn't just Brock Lesnar throwing people around for 10 minutes, and you know what the ending's gonna be. But we'll see how it eventually ends.
But how much fun is it to watch Brock Lesnar throw people around?
It is kind of fun, though.
It is the most entertaining thing, and every time he come out, you're like, okay, this guy's going to get wrecked. Let's see how long it takes for this to happen. I kind of love it. I think it's hilarious. And up until Strowman, they weren't doing that sort of thing. They hadn't done it in a while anyways. And I love what they're doing with Strowman. Like,
yes.
That idiot actually is terrifying now.
And he comes out at the best possible moments.
And just, like, screams at people. Like, death metal screams at right in their face. It's great. Like, don't ever have him talk again.
Right.
Just have him scream at people and throw them around.
But I love that he just comes at the right possible moments. He'll be like, "Uh-oh, man, Roman Reigns is about to win this match. I don't want Roman Reigns to win." Then you hear, "Run!" And he comes out and beats up Roman Reigns.
It's great, though. It's like WWE's homegrown Brock Lesnar that they can actually control.
Right.
You know? Right. Or at least that's what they're making him seem like he's going to be.
Right. But, like, I just love it, man. And people are getting on board with the whole Braun Strowman thing more and more. So hopefully it continues to go in the right direction.
It's funny, though. They probably do about 10% extremely well in WWE, and the rest just kind of falls by the wayside. And it's really cool that they can do that 10% as well as they do. It's so hard to believe that they can't spread it around a little bit more and just make it 50% good. Just there's so many people that are just floundering. They have so much talent. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the business anymore to like make superstars, to make that John Cena anymore, to make anyone.
But how great has John Cena been the past year? John Cena would put me to sleep right up until he did. Did he do the Stone Cold podcast? Is that the one where he got called out?
Yeah, I think
for
so.
doing the 5 moves. After that, man, it was just nonstop. The whole Cena challenge was amazing. Every single match I've seen him in the past year has been like top notch. So good.
All of his stuff with AJ Styles has been.
This
incredible.
is a guy that I hated forever. I'll scream Cena sucks when I'm in the watching the show live. If I'm in the arena, I'll John Cena sucks all day long. But he's been fantastic.
Yeah, and all his matches with AJ Styles have been incredible.
AJ's amazing.
Oh. Yeah, he's my favorite in the world. Him and Shinsuke Nakamura are my 2 favorites in the world.
How do you think Nakamura is going to do on the main roster?
Man,
it could go horribly wrong.
It could be, man, because WWE's always been bad with Japanese, like, well, any sort of like other like ethnic character or whatever. Any sort of like,
yeah, there's an underlying of racism all over that company.
Yeah,
but they really don't do well with people that don't fit into that WWE mold, and he's so far out of that mold, and everything that he does, whether it's coming to the ring or his moves inside the ring, it might be hard for people to swallow. I love it.
Oh,
NXT, he's the best part of NXT. I actually stopped watching when they pilfered a lot of the talent, a lot of the Charlottes and the Baileys and stuff like that. But he's just every time putting on great matches here.
But he does have that sort of it factor though, where it's just like his natural charisma and everything does really attract a lot of people. So if anything gets over on the main roster, it'll be that every time he comes out, it's going to be like this extravagant show sort of thing. And
could he have a better entrance music? Holy crap, is that good?
Oh, it's amazing. It's so, I love his entrances, man. It's so great, man.
even the theme, like people are humming the theme as he's coming down the ramp, and then even when he's done, they still humming. I'm humming the theme at home. It's so catchy. It's awesome.
Oh man, definitely. So, yeah, when he eventually comes to the main roster, like that's another person that I would love to see a Brock Lesnar match, because they did have a match back in the day in New Japan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, if you go online and just Google it, like they did have a match together, and it was a pretty good match. So that would be something that would be very interesting to see. Is like,
was it real short?
It was kind of short, but it wasn't extremely long. I do believe Brock Lesnar won the match, but it wasn't really a long fight. But it was actually pretty good, though.
Yeah, Shinsuke over in New Japan was phenomenal. It was so much fun to watch. Every single match, super good.
Oh,
and I couldn't wait till he busted out in NXT. And they did it right. They really they didn't even need to put him on a pedestal. People just loved him already, so it worked.
Yeah, man, from the jump, like from that first match that he had in NXT with Sami Zayn, it was just like everything was so. It was all good. I loved all his matches. I actually went to the NXT Takeover in Toronto during Survivor Series weekend.
Oh, nice!
And it was really dope to see. That was a night that he actually lost.
Right, yeah.
But it was still like really dope to see, like finally see Shinsuke Nakamura live, and I'm like, oh man, this is incredible, man. This is really dope, man. I'm like, so...
He's a tall dude. He's taller than you might think.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was always one of like the taller dudes like over there in Japan. That was like that was like one of the main reasons why AJ Styles doesn't do the Styles Clash that much anymore, is because all the WWE guys are much bigger than the New Japan guys.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So that's crazy. But it'll be interesting to see where Shinsuke ends up in the whole WWE universe. Do
you think my boy CM Punk's gonna show back up in WWE, or do you think that's over with for good?
Man, like that might be over. He just doesn't seem like he has any sort of just drive to be a part of like wrestling anymore. Like, right. And the funny thing is like if he would have like stuck it out for another like 2 years, like I think there would have been like a better place for him in the WWE, and maybe like a better, a better rub for him. Even though they did kind of treat him a certain way while he was there. He was like, there's at times when he was the champion, but not the main event ever. It was really a lot of weird shit. And he was one of those guys that the WWE was almost like forced to push because the fans were behind him so much.
Those are the best guys, I think. I love that when it flips the script on what those guys think. It's pretty neat. It's like lightning in a bottle sometimes. I couldn't stand the fact that he put down wrestling before his MMA stuff, and then he used the theme song to come to the ring. And Andy used his own CM Punk name. Like, if you're gonna give up wrestling, give up wrestling. Don't don't come back to us crying because you don't have any fans anymore because you blew everyone off. I did not like I've met him and he's a really nice guy. We did a theme song for him back in the day, and that was the only thing that really left a super bad taste in my mouth.
Well, apparently the whole Living Color Cult of Personality thing actually goes back, because I was just Living Color was on Jericho's podcast this past week, and they were telling the story about that. They were like, CM Punk actually told us that the reason why he wants to use that song was when he was a kid playing baseball, that was the song that their team went out to the field with.
Oh, that's funny.
So it was like
we did this song, This Fire, way back, and it was a privilege and an honor to be a part of, that WWE scene. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
But he had told us that he was going to switch songs because he was going to turn heel, and he asked us if we could cover Cult of Personality, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't get into the studio and make it happen. So a whole 2 years later, all of a sudden he pops up, and that was his theme song. But super nice guy, really nice dude in person.
That's awesome. To kind of like wrap things up, is there any other companies out there that you've been able to attend like indie wrestling shows for?
Let's see. NECW is a New England promotion I've seen a bunch of times. That's really fun to watch here and there. It's really, really small. Seen NXT live. That was really fun. I don't get out a lot to enough wrestling because we're touring constantly, and it would have to be like stars aligned if an actual wrestling show was going to be in the same area where I was. It's pretty difficult usually. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed about maybe going at some point in Japan because there's matches all the time there, and it's such a small area that it wouldn't be too hard to catch a bullet train to go see a show.
Oh, there's tons. Yeah, there's always like there's so many different wrestling promotions out there that there's like always something going on, like at Kirk Hall or some shit like that.
Yeah, that would be very exciting to see Japanese wrestling in a Japanese dojo. I'd be stoked.
Great. Dope. But okay, it's been great talking with you, man, about wrestling, man. Definitely enjoyed hearing your insight on everything. If anybody wants to check out where they can find out more information about Killswitch Engage, where can they go online?
Killswitchengage.com is the easiest place to find out, where we're touring or whatever, merch and all that good stuff. My design company, darkicondesign.com. You could go there, check out my crappy website with really good art on it. I just needed to put a website together, so it's pretty much the most basic thing you've ever seen. But, the artwork hopefully speaks for itself. Currently, Killswitch is going out on the road. In 2 weeks, we're going to Australia. We're going to do the 15th anniversary of Alive or Just Breathing, our second record, our first record on Roadrunner.
Nope.
For the 15-year anniversary. And then in end of March, we're doing a co-headliner with Anthrax. That's a U.S. tour, and hopefully our last one for this album cycle. I think we've decided that we are going to shorten the time that we tour and make more records or more frequent records rather than every 2 years, maybe every year or year and a half, and maybe be able to be home just a touch more. We miss every holiday known to man or every birthday, so it'd be good to spend a little time at home. But currently, and then one last thing, we have a Blu-ray out, just came out a couple months ago, and it's the last 4 years of Jesse joining the band and becoming reacclimated to touring, and our whole touring cycle, I think, I can't even remember how many dates were on that cycle. It was a good 4-year stint of shows around the world, and the documentary that talks about the getting back together in the massive love fest that is now Killswitch Engage. Awesome.
It's been great to talk with you, Mike.
Very nice to talk to you. If you want to do it again, let me know. I would be happy.
Hell yeah. All right, man. You have a good day, man.
Okay, you too. Bye.
All right, bye. That was my interview with Mike D'Antonio, guitarist of the band Killswitch Engage. And now, like always, I'm joined with my co-host, pro wrestling and MMA connoisseur, Detroit hip-hop artist, and proud Marine, V Styles.
Hoorah! Hi. How you doing? Kelly? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, feeling a lot better than the last couple weeks, man. But I'm good.
Yeah, me
How
too.
about you?
I'm feeling a lot better, man. I feel like I've take a dip in the lake of rejuvenation, and I'm feeling a little better.
That's all that matters, man. That's all that fucking matters.
Yes. lot has happened this past week, and both in the world of pro wrestling and MMA. A lot to talk about, and to start things off, pro wrestling. Something really great happened, and
Yes.
we have to sing a song. You have to sing a song to do it. He has the whole world.
Whole world in his hands. He has the whole world in his
hands.
hands.
Oh, dude, it's been the thing that we've talked about so much on this podcast, and it actually happened. Bray Wyatt wins the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sight, man. It was a beautiful sight. And
Even him beating AJ Styles, and you know, I'm an AJ Styles guy.
yeah, me too.
But if any man deserves the world title, Bray Wyatt deserves. So well done, sir. Well fucking done.
Yeah, in the match, it was Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, John Cena, AJ Styles, and Bray Wyatt. It came down to the last three were Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and John Cena. Bray Wyatt pins John Cena, so it's all up to Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles, which I totally marked out for. I was like, oh my god, like.
Yeah,
these are
as a wrestling fan, I think we all did.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a new champion. It's gonna be either AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt. Oh my goodness, these are like my two favorite like guys on the main roster, and I'm like, all right. I'm an AJ Styles fan. He's my favorite, but I want this to be Bray Wyatt's time, and it happened, and it was awesome. It was very awesome.
Yeah,
and what was
definitely
great,
awesome.
and what was great was Tuesday on SmackDown. He came out to the "You Deserve It" chant from the crowd.
Yes,
and
that's the ultimate respect.
And man, we've been so many people have been waiting for this time to happen, and we're a lot of people are very we're all very skeptical about how long this might last. But what was really cool was on SmackDown on Tuesday, they had the triple threat match between Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and John Cena. It was a really great match, had a great ending. And even though Bray Wyatt got beat up before the match by Luke Harper, he came out victorious, pinning John Cena clean.
Hey, I'm not mad at that, man, because that makes him look. I mean, he reminds me, like, okay, I'll say this. It's few guys that can play the heel, yet when they come out and you see all those fucking lights, it's the biggest sign of respect from the fans, man. I've always said fans will let you know who they rock with. The fans let you know every time he come out, whether he's a good guy. I mean, he's never been really a good guy per se.
Nah.
But they let you know I rock with this dude and I appreciate this dude. We've seen the hard work that this dude put in, night out, and we love his character. That dude recreated himself 3 fucking times. And finally something fucking stuck. And this was a beautiful thing for wrestling, man. So I'm happy for him, man. Let's see how far this can go. Of course, I would love to see AJ Styles get the strap again. I'm just an AJ Styles guy. But who knows? We're going to have a draft coming up soon, and maybe he can go to Raw where he can, go for the Universal title. But I'm super happy for Bray Wyatt, and let's just see how far he can take this.
Yeah.
It's all up to him, really.
And what's great about the Bray Wyatt character in regards to the fans in the arena all the time is that he's always acknowledged.
I love hearing the Husky Harris chant. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but he's always acknowledged them, but he's always brought it into his world. The Fireflies. It's something that he doesn't acknowledge them as just like regular people or anything
He
like
kind of
that.
gave it up. Look, he kind of gave it up on Tuesday, though. He didn't give it up, but you could tell that he was feeling the fans. You can tell it.
Yeah, but he brought it back to he brought it in a little bit, to being like, this is my world. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the man right now, and I love it, and it was, and how SmackDown ended with Randy Orton coming out, and basically saying that continuing the storyline and how it's been, where he's like, I don't want to have this match with you. Brings more questions now and actually furthers this, this whole Wyatt family storyline that's going on that has like all these movable parts right now, which is actually really, really fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think Luke Harper is one of the more underutilized guys. Now, hopefully, he's one that can shine out of this, because Randy Orton is always going to shine. Bray Wyatt is always going to shine. Let's hope Luke Harper will start getting that love that we all think he deserves, man. Because I love that. I love that Gator roll. That Gator roll was one of my favorite moves.
Man, Luke Harper is so underappreciated and underrated.
Yeah.
Man, give that guy the U.S. belt or the IC belt or something, man. Like,
yeah,
something, man.
Totally agree.
Another big win at Elimination Chamber was for the SmackDown Women's title. Naomi beat Alexa Bliss. After all these years of Naomi being part of all these weird gimmicks and kind of being underutilized.
And being a pug, because she used to be a pug. If y'all don't know what a pug is a person that, I love SD Jones. You probably don't remember SD Special Delivery Jones, but SD Special Delivery Jones was a pug. I mean, he was a dude or a competitor. You knew they was going to lose every week. Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah.
A pug. Quick Draw Rick McGraw, a pug. Barry Horowitz, a pug. You knew what their jobs were. And I'm not saying that she was a professional pug, but the WWE definitely didn't utilize that talent for a long time, and I'm happy for it, man. Good for her.
Yeah, that was super. I was super excited about that. I'm a big Alexa Bliss fan, but I was like, finally.
I'm not, but go ahead.
But it's like finally, like Naomi
gets her credibility.
Gets the credit that she deserves. Gets that positive rub. From the WWE that she's long deserved. She's
her old partner. Is she in NXT now?
Oh no, she got fired from WWE.
Yeah, because it's this new black chick in NXT. I was like, is that Naomi's old partner?
Oh no, that's Ember Moon. You're probably talking about.
Yeah.
She's
exactly
dope, man, and she's dope.
She can go.
Oh, Ember Moon is dope. She's gonna be one of the.
She gonna be one of the ones, huh?
Yeah, she's gonna be one of the ones in the future, definitely. But I'm glad Naomi finally got this positive rub. She's definitely one of the most athletic competitors in the WWE.
And she better than her husband.
Yes, I think a lot of people would agree with that. But yeah, it was super cool to finally see Naomi get the acknowledgement that she definitely deserved. One thing we didn't talk that I failed to bring up last week, but I'm glad I didn't because he kicked ass on Raw this week, is Samoa Joe's debut. Dude.
You know what?
Dude, he's one of my favorite.
I can smile.
Dude, again, this is something that we've been talking about for so long, and his debut was awesome. He ends up injuring Seth Rollins.
Wonderful.
And the funny thing is like after it, he went on Twitter in character and talked shit about it. He stayed in character, and it was perfect. But this week on Raw, it was great, you know. I texted you because during that backstage interview that he had with Michael Cole, he's like, "I'm here to wreck shop," and I'm like,
I'm here to wreck
"Oh!"
motherfucking shop.
I'm like, "Bro, that is so hip hop, man."
All fucking day.
I want a T-shirt now that says that Samoa Joe is here to wreck shop, dude. I would rock that.
Yeah. He needs to. Somebody needs to do like a quote on that. Yeah, that needs to be a T-shirt.
Yeah, with everything he did on Raw this week, they're really doing a good job of solidifying him as this badass, this, as they say,
It's
destroyer.
monster.
Yeah, and it's fantastic, man. And that backstage interview,
Everything
interview was great.
We've ever talked about is real shit.
And that backstage interview you did with Michael Cole was really perfect, and just being able to really be able to break down what he's about, you know, and show without being in the ring and doing stupid fodder with somebody else that, you know, this is what he's all about. And then he comes out and just beats people up too, and I'm like, all right, this is going well. One of the other craziest moments of Raw that went from pure hilarity to pure heartbreak was the Festival of Friendship between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens.
My feelings was hurt, man.
I went from a point where I couldn't stop laughing at the beginning of that segment to being like,
dude, that shit was great. That you went from laughing to
pure heartbreak.
Hey, he got me, man, dog. It's this meme that's out. It's this video meme that's out where everything is great in the beginning, and then when Owen switches up and does that, you hear the theme from the Titanic,
right?
Like playing in the back. I said, yeah, and that's how we felt as a fucking wrestler fan. We felt like, wow, nah, man, nah.
Honestly, that could go down as one of the greatest segments ever, because that showed Chris Jericho's like genius, like that whole way through.
Indeed.
Like even to the point where they went to the commercial break and he held the it till afterwards.
Right.
I'm like,
right. Real shit.
Like,
real shit.
That whole segment was just pure Chris Jericho genius. Yeah. And I'm like,
when the magician came out, you know, look, that's what I was waiting on. When the magician came out, he was like, you know what happens. And then you can hear the anticipation of the fans, but they knew it too. Everybody got up. It was like those moments, you can't buy those fucking moments, man. That's why Jericho is one of my favorite guys of all time, man. It takes so much to have dope wrestling skills and have dope mic skills. Generally, is one or the other for wrestlers.
Yeah.
But Jericho, he's done this consistently for years, man. I think when he finally does say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to do this shit no more, we're going to miss that guy, because it's not a guy in the WWE right now, excluding AJ Styles, but it's not a guy in the WWE right now that can be so witty at the drop of a dime, man. Chris Jericho is a fucking genius, man. I've added, you've just made the list to my everyday things to say to a motherfucker. You know what happens when you talk shit to V in front of people? You know what happens? And if I have a pen in my left breast pocket, I pull that motherfucker out and I lift it in the air and I click it and I'll pause. You know what happens? You just made the list. And motherfuckers will look at me like, what the fuck is he talking about? Be like, yeah, y'all don't get it. But the ones that do get it, they bust out laughing, because it's like, oh yeah, Jericho, you know. How do you not rock with that dude? He, good guy, bad guy, he fucking rocks, man. And we're just gonna be real sad to see him leave soon, from what I'm hearing. You know, I guess he's going to be either on a tour or recording some new music with Fozzy, but it makes this storyline that much interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm a little mad because we all see the direction that they're trying to go with giving Goldberg this world title. And it's like, dude, you no diss to him, but you are a part-time world champion. If anything that I had against Brock Lesnar was you're all of everything what people say you are. But, dude, you ain't in that ring all the fucking time, man. People say what they want about Kevin Owens, man. But that dude is out there Monday Night Raws, not to mention the pay-per-views, not to mention the shows he do throughout the week, man. So I think they may be dropping the ball, taking the strap off that dude.
But you know what?
It's just me.
I'm not okay. Maybe like 2 weeks ago, we might have all said, "Oh, Goldberg's going to beat Kevin Owens for that belt." But after this week, it's questionable because there was that segment where Triple H was talking with Kevin Owens privately before the whole Festival of Friendship thing. So it looks like, from what it looks like, Triple H, it looks like he might be forming his own little stable now with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's hey, great mind, man, great mind.
So yeah,
I didn't think about that.
So it's questionable what might happen with that with the Goldberg Kevin Owens match now after everything that happened on Monday night.
I still see them giving that strap to him, and then him and Goldberg fighting that. Him and Brock Lesnar fighting at WrestleMania for that Universal strap.
Yeah.
And I see, it's just me because how our brains are when it comes to wrestling, man. But I see Chris Jericho interfering in that match.
That's what could happen, and then it'll eventually be Jericho and Owens.
It'll be a WrestleMania match.
At WrestleMania.
And then after WrestleMania, KO probably will beat Chris Jericho, and that sends Chris Jericho off to his little hiatus from the WWE until he finishes what he's doing with Fozzy.
Right. Yeah, that looks like what's about to happen. We'll see. You know, we still got like about a month.
We got a little while. But wrestling has made me happy again, man. I'm okay now.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff that's been happening.
Well, I am gonna tell you about something I'm not happy about.
What's that?
Why in the fuck would you put the strap on Bayley?
I don't know. I'm fine with it, but
oh man, it's John Cena all over fucking again. It's like, I don't. That shit is corny, bro.
But okay, if they're gonna have, but I hope that with having Bayley win with the belt, I hope she at least keeps it for a while, and Charlotte doesn't win it again really quickly.
No. Charlotte has slowly but surely won me over.
Yeah, me too. But she's gonna beat her daddy's record for most title reigns like in the next year if this continues.
Well, she don't lose at pay-per-views. That's how they build her.
Yeah,
She's never lost at a pay-per-view. She's the new female Undertaker. She don't lose on pay-per-views.
No.
That's just how that shit goes. You know, I mean that's a fact. You know,
Right.
But I'm not into the Bayley character, man. I'm just, it's like, why? Why do you got to come to the ring so fucking happy and with blow-up dolls and all type of, like,
Well,
this is not Saturday morning. This ain't Saturday morning cartoons. This is, like, come on, man. Fuck out of here. And why have they made the extension just look like bums?
it's crazy that they were like the most dominant like tag team in NXT like ever. But they just could not get over on the main roster, and then just it's Like, there was one week recently where they actually won a match, and we're like, holy shit, they won a match. But it's been hard to get those guys over on the main roster.
Yeah. I don't. The WWF had a great opportunity to do something. When that dude came to the ring looking like he was out of motherfucking what was that movie that came out, the reboot that came out last year, not the Road Warrior, but the you know what I'm talking about, man. The movie that had Mel Gibson in it.
Shit, I don't know.
Man, he played. It was a reboot, and my man was in the movie. Tom Hardy. Wait a minute, hold on. Mad Max.
Oh, Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Okay. When the extension came out, one of the dudes had on the big teeth on their face, and that was straight out of Mad Max, the reboot.
Right.
And I'm like, ooh, these motherfuckers look scary. Ooh. And sure enough, boom. You know, I'm like, these dudes got a chance now. Some shit can really pop off now. And they made these motherfuckers look like pugs. And it's like, man, y'all dropping the ball, man.
But for the most part, like the whole tag team situation in the WWE is a mess. Like everybody, and I don't think they can get over. I mean, the only people that got over as a tag team was the New Day, and they were the ones that got themselves over. You know, we've talked about this many times. You know. But outside of that, the tag team situation is just basically a shit show.
It's horrible, man. I don't like seeing Fandango and the other dude.
Tyler Breeze?
Yeah.
Deputy
I ain't
Dango?
feeling that shit, man. The dude got them octopus boots on, man. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is
Deputy
going
Dango?
on?
Breezango?
Yeah, it's only one dude that I allow to do that type shit to, you know, they boots, and that's fucking Morrison. Morrison was that dude.
Yeah.
I wish he was back in the WWE, man. Everyone, that dude come back? Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. You know, I ain't feeling none of the tag teams. Like you said, the New Day had to do what they had to do to get over. And once they created that, see, that's the beauty of wrestling. You have to, when you learn what your powers are, you can be so unlimited as far as potential-wise of what they can do. New Day, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, well, you know, man, the New Day kind of earned their own shit, man. They, you know, them was dudes that all had 3 bogus-ass characters, and they came together, took a chance, and they made a way for themselves. They adjusted and made a way. Every person, only the greats do that. Steve Austin. Like, Steve Austin was going no fucking where until his match with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Right. Yeah.
But that's one thing we got to do, too, man. We got to go see Jake if we're not out of town in March when he come to Hamtramck.
Oh, definitely.
We got to make that shit happen, man. Me and you, man, we just, you know, maybe we could sit and you know, I would like to talk to him beforehand because, you know, we've had dialogue before and he treated me real great. But I'd like to talk to him beforehand. Maybe we could, you know, maybe we can get something from Jake the Snake for our podcast. That would be super. But
definitely.
People, you know, wrestlers don't know how to find their own niche. I'm super happy right now. I know I'm switching, you know, topics a little bit, but I'm super happy with Cody Rhodes right now. He is by far, you know, I mean, him and Matt Riddle are the hottest commodities next to Kenny Omega.
Oh, yeah.
And They are the hottest dudes, man, and you got to salute that, man. I think the WWE truly dropped the ball with Cody Rhodes. Hopefully, if he has to come back around, hopefully they do him right the next time around. But
even with Cody, the dynamic with his wife is really good. That's something that they never explored in WWE.
Never. And I heard he did a cold ass move on her the other day.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet, but yeah, I heard some good things.
Me neither. I ain't seen it yet neither.
But I've heard some good things about even Brandy's work in TNA recently, and like that's something that they never even explored in WWE, and I think would have been pretty awesome actually.
Indeed. Definitely agree with you on that.
All right. Let's turn the tables onto the world of MMA. A lot of shit has gone down in the past week. We had the UFC 208 pay-per-view last weekend. And like I was saying to you via Twitter, in most regards, this was kind of a shit show. But there was some positives buried in there a little bit. So before we get to the criticism of this, I do want to talk about some of the positives. The Dustin Poirier versus Jim Miller fight. Did you see that?
Yeah, I missed the Dustin Poirier fight. In fact, when I did tune in, I tuned in and I'm looking at the fucking guy on screen and I'm like, that's not Dustin. And I'm like, that's not him. His haircut is different. No, that's not him. Then I looked at the tattoos. I was like, that's Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Wow. He didn't look like the same guy. Like, just recognizable. He didn't look like the guy, with the super tight cut, so
right.
Yeah, I missed this fight.
That was a war. Both of those guys, like after that fight, they were wrecked. They had to take Dustin to the hospital after because he hurt his leg. I think it isn't too bad, but like he couldn't even stand up after that, but he still was able to, tough it out through the fight. But that was a fucking war, man. It was a war.
Wow. Did he go 3 rounds? He knocked him out?
No, yeah, it was 3 rounds, majority decision. But that was easily, and it did win the fight of the night, I believe. But that was easily the fight of the night. Another thing that really impressed me was the Wilson Heist versus Sasaki fight. Did you see that at all?
No, I missed a lot. You know, man, I've been caught up a lot all weekend, man. I had a couple shows, so I missed a lot of things, man. But I focused on the things that I felt like I need to focus on. The Holly Holm fight, the Anderson Silva fight. So I missed a couple fights, man, but
this was a dope.
I didn't miss them.
This was a dope preliminary prelim fight. Wilson Heist ended up winning by unanimous decision, but Sasaki still impressed me. Honestly, I love kind of watching these Korean and Japanese fighters that they've had in the UFC recently, because they will get into the worst situations, rear naked chokes or whatever, and somehow slither their way out of it. And it's crazy to watch these guys fight, and that's what Sasaki was doing, man. There was times when I'm like, you can't bend that way, bro. And he was able to somehow get out of it, man. And I'm like, but it was a hell of a fight, man. I really enjoyed it,
Dog, have you seen this pic online with the entire McMahon family?
Oh, yeah.
With motherfucking Donald Trump?
Yeah, everybody's been talking about it today, man. Dude.
I'm just now seeing it, man. See, you know what? And I hate to even go off cue here because, we normally don't do this, but I kind of feel like since seeing this, I should. I love professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Love. If I can't watch wrestling, then I don't feel like I'm alive. I'm just going to keep that shit real with you. I love the shit. It is a part of me.
Yeah.
I'll never stop supporting, it. But it's so hard for me to watch, you know, I mean, for all intents and purposes, man, you might as well say wrestling has been my favorite TV show my entire life.
Yeah.
It's hard to look at, you know, and this is where you have to say, you know what, I got to separate politics from entertainment. It's really hard for me to look at this picture and like be fucking happy. I feel like this is a whole fucking WWE. These last, it's 15, so these last fucking 20 plus days have been some of the most different days as a human being I've ever experienced watching from a presidency, man. So
Right.
the picture is a little sickening.
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
jarring.
But I will say, you know, I love wrestling. So, you know, wow. Yeah, I'm just now seeing this shit, man. It's fucking me up right now. But yeah, I love wrestling. And I can't give shit a pass that I don't agree with, man. But obviously they have a relationship with that guy, and that stems way before he was even thought of as being any type of presidential candidate.
Yeah.
So I guess I get that part, but for a person like myself that love that brand, and it's easily my escape for 5 hours out of the week. Actually, more than that if you include NXT and the Cruiserweights. I mean, a lot of their programming is my escape.
Yeah.
But I can't escape from reality. So I have to separate that from the politics, man. It's just like, wow, that shit is stunning to me. But it is what it is. I get why they behind him. I get it, you know. But you know, if you represent what I represent, you know, it's man. Whew. It's all about right and wrong, people. Ain't no middle. There is no middle in right and wrong. So take that shit and smoke it if you want to. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's tough these days because there's so many behind the scenes connections to things that we don't with people and organizations that we don't agree with, you know, directly. Mm-hmm. That it's like it's hard to separate it all, you know, and sometimes it's hard not being almost like a hypocrite, you know. It's really kind of hard, you know. So it can be, you know, sometimes there's just some like tough decisions on whether you want to support something or not because of some sort of relationship that product or whatever has with a person you don't, you know, agree with or don't like or whatever, you know. It's just been worse lately, you know.
Yeah, I never want to come off as, you know, I love people, man. I'm all about people. I don't give a fuck what you look like, what shade of color you have. I don't give a fuck about none of that, man. Love is love. That shit is universal. So when I see the shit that I see, yeah, it's pretty like, wow, are you fucking kidding me? But again, you know, keep in mind that wrestling is my escape, so I'm just gonna focus on that.
Yep, me too. Yeah, getting back to some to the MMA, to UFC 208. I think the big underlying sort of like theme of that night was what was up with the judges and refs that night, man. There were so many questionable acts, especially from the refs. It seemed like the refs that night were almost like a fish out of the water. There was a lot of weird, like, breakups, like really, you know, quick. Like they were like, you know, pandering to the crowd anytime they booed when there was, you know, long, not even long, you know, clinches and stuff like that. And And definitely with the home during the home Durandamy fight, the late punches and whatnot, that it was crazy. Like it was weird. It was like the refs that night just didn't really have a handle on what they were supposed to be doing. First off, we had the whole Durandamy fight for the inaugural 145 UFC belt, and
I looked at that fight 3 times. You can honestly say that Holly Holm may have won that fight.
Yeah, it was a weird. It wasn't the best fight, man. It was pretty much a lackluster fight, but it was like when it comes down to it, you're like, what happened after you watch it? You had you kind of had a sway into this sort of black eye with those kind of late hits that were happening. But this is the thing. It's just like there was a question if in regards to what the bell means and what's a late hit and whatnot. I did see a couple of quotes from one being from the Rob Hines. He's the from the Association of Boxing Commissions and Combative Sports. He had an interview with MMA Fighting, and he explained when the bell sounds, whenever that happens, that's just our indication to stop the round. That's not the signal for the exact end of the round. We need to make sure that we're in position and then everything's in place to stop the action as close to that horn as possible. And
Does that even make fucking sense?
And then also, exactly. And then also, someone on Twitter asked John McCarthy pretty much the same question. And he said
I've seen that.
The round officially ends at the call of the referee. The bell is their notification. So this was a kind of a weird thing that happened because it happened twice. Not just once, but twice. And the funny thing is after the second time it happened, the ref said that if it happens again, he'll take a point away, which
should have did it after the first one.
Should have did it after the first one, and that would have caused that fight to be a draw, pretty much, and it was just really, really, really weird, I understand that during that last second, that something might happen during that last second, but that ref was in no position to stop the fighters during those second and third rounds. Also, he was kind of a little out of it. But the funny thing was, on the fourth round, he got in there too early.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. The fight was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's an established 145 champion.
There was nothing championship about that. There was nothing championship about that fight.
I think Holly Holm's game plan was all wrong.
Oh, definitely. I don't know what the original. I don't know what her game plan was supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know what her game plan was supposed to be, but she said she abandoned it and didn't stick to it. Everybody, it was pretty much a known thing beforehand that Durandamy was pretty weak on the ground in grappling, and everybody pretty much said afterwards. Even Chris Cyborg said that if she inputted more wrestling into that fight, that Holly Holm would have won easily.
She'd have won that fight easily. If she'd like, you can, I mean, not to be funny, if you look at the fight against Ronda Rousey, I think she just was more physically stronger than Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
And the takedowns that she had, like, it's not hard to get a pancake if you're in position and you're strong enough. That's not what she is. She's not a wrestler. I don't know what tapes her team were using game plan wise, but it didn't really look like. Maybe that was the game plan. maybe they did work on that, and then that's what she said. She abandoned it, but it don't. It to me, it didn't look like there was. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't no legit grappling on Holly Holm's behalf, man. And when she did, she got a pretty. Well, I shouldn't say that, but or maybe I said she got a pretty booty. Maybe she should have focused more on, if you read the scouting report, man, the scouting report told you what the weaknesses were. So I just was like, wow, why is she not? And maybe she just couldn't do that. That's not what she is, So it's just sad, but I know either one of them will get the brakes beat off of them by the person we love here the most at Fresh is the Word. Chris Cyborg, we love you. And
okay, and
we've been saying,
right.
Go ahead.
And this is the crazy thing. Okay, it looks like things with Cyborg and the UFC have gotten better. They brought her out to Brooklyn for the event.
The UFC ain't stupid. They finally not acting stupid.
Right.
They know.
But this is the thing, and this is the thing that made this fight even less of a championship feel, was after the fight, when de Randamie won, she did not sell this division at all. Once once they brought up Cyborg's name, she started talking about an injury from 2 fights ago that she said she wants to get fixed. And no one ever brings up an injury after a fight, especially when you just won a championship, the first championship for that.
And then what makes it worse is Chris Cyborg saying, let's get it on. Then she say, I got to get my shit fixed. And then you say, well, Holly Holm, maybe she does get an immediate rematch.
An immediate rematch? Like...
Oh, yeah. She said that.
Yeah, I know. An immediate rematch. After she said she needs to get her hand fixed from an injury. Like, come on, which one is it, man? Like, you can't...
Like Chris said, they knew the drill. They knew that this division was created for her. It was created for you, Chris. We know it.
I mean,
you
look,
said it.
Look, the Candyman's coming. Somebody's going to eventually have to face Cyborg. And the funny thing is, too, Cyborg has been kind of going after Megan Anderson also, because Megan Anderson, when she won the interim title in Invicta, called out the winner of Holm and de Randamie, saying that she wants to fight after that. But now that we're in this, but now they're in this, but now they're in this position where de Randamie is iffy about when she wants to fight next, and Holm lost, and so Cyborg's like, all right, Anderson, let's get it on then. If de Randamie's not going to be around for a while, and now she's getting quiet.
And then, but this is what she says. Well, and this is just me talking. Well, Chris got a situation going on with the commission. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus on the ones that hey, Holly Holm, you want to fight a real 145? Here I am. But yeah, we're gonna focus on the ladies that are active and da. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? Wow,
man.
Yeah.
Look. One of those
drill, though.
One of those ladies are gonna have to get into the cage with Cyborg eventually.
The beauty of it all is they scared already. That's
right,
the beauty of it. That they fucking scared already. They know. Look, they know. Like you go hold, you holding that title for just a little bit. You know what the drill is. You knew when you signed up for this fight that this whole division was created for Cyborg. Huh?
Right.
Huh? Yeah. Candyman is motherfucking coming. They better say the name 3 times. They better hope for the best. They go get the worst though. they gonna get the worst. All I see is beat down.
Right. And
That's all I see.
and word is now is that Holly Holm is actually going to appeal the decision with the athletic commission. And actually, I guess Derek Brunson's going to be doing the same thing in regards to his fight with Anderson Silva.
Derek Brunson won that fight.
Oh, dude,
He won that fight.
clearly won that fight. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
like the best fight in the world, but you know what? Okay, it could have been 29-28 split decision either way.
And that's what I'm going to say.
And that-
Yeah, you give him 29-28 at the minimum.
Either way, it could have been that. It could have been a split decision either way. But for someone
It
to
was a
give
judge that had him 30-27.
30-27 Anderson Silva, hell no. No.
Which leads me to say to this, and this is how I started this whole shit off. I'm not even a Brendan Schaub type dude, but he said some shit that I was like, yeah, that shit is real. Maybe New York, I know New York is a big market, man, but maybe we don't need to have MMA in New York until they get they fucking judges and the commission straight as far as truly understanding what the fuck is going on. Because
Yes. 'Cause there was a lot of weird behavior in this event in regards to the judges and the refs. Some things that we don't normally see happening. There was that shit happening.
that shit was horrible.
Like there was
Horrible.
Okay. There was the issue with Holman Durandamy with stopping the rounds and everything. And I saw that a few other times early on. I think it was during the Silva Derek Brunson fight. There was this one round where at the end of it they weren't even really getting into it, but the ref pretty much tackled, I think, Derek Brunson to get him out of the way,
Right.
even though nothing was happening, and all the announcers were joking about it. They're like, "Whoa, what just happened there?" It was the weirdest shit. And there was I can't remember which fights it was, but there was a few, like I mentioned earlier, where there was kind of like tie-ups on the ground and some even in the cage, like on the side of the cage, and they broke it up really quickly.
Yeah, this, in my opinion, very. Yeah, I mean, I fuck with most of the refs there, but as far as the judges, horrible. And you had some referees there that just were extremely bad. So I just hope, I get the whole getting to the New York market thing, how important that is, but I would really hope that they can reconsider, because everything, the New York cards haven't been, that hot. So let's be real about that.
Yeah, I mean, outside of 205, the first one, I think if I remember right, when they did the Albany fight night card, there was like some similar questionability of the refs and the judges that night. Even not as bad as this time, but I think there was a few instances of kind of weird judging that night also.
Yeah, this shit was bad, bro. It was just like, wow, are you fucking kidding me? That shit ain't supposed to be popular.
I mean, sometimes, at the end of the night, there might be like one questionable judging or one questionable thing that the ref does. That's still a judgment call. It can be arguable, but it was still a judgment call. This shit, there was too many things that were like, yo, what the fuck was that, man? Like, it was more than a judgment call. That was more fish out of the water type shit.
Yeah. I didn't, and I guess that's what kind of made the card kind of feel a different way for me. I'm like, man, this is some bullshit, But Anderson definitely lost that fight. I wasn't with Holmes' game plan. I wasn't really impressed with, the other chick. It just was lackluster for me. I'm looking forward to other things coming up, man. But that, we're easily gonna forget them shits.
Right. Speaking of some stuff that's coming up, this weekend with Bellator, we
The
have
Emperor.
Fedor Emelianenko versus Matt Mitrione. Fedor said, after years of the UFC trying to get him over to their company, he said, came over to Bellator because he was given a good offer for him and his team. I was joking around that he's bringing Rockefeller over.
And that shit is real, man. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. You got to put your people in position, man. And he put his people in position to eat on this card. Good for him. And he fights Matt Mitrione, and this is gonna be a good fight. I think if he gets what Fedor is great at is hurting somebody, and once he hurts them, it just takes a split second for him to turn it up. And
yeah,
I think if he lands something against Matt, it could be a problem. But if Matt lands, Matt has the potential of knocking him out. We're going to be talking about this next week too, man, because I honestly think Matt Mitrione may knock him out. That's just my opinion. But, if I was a betting man right now, why not pick Matt? Matt might, I know he looked a certain way in his debut, but this fight could be all wrong for Fedor.
Yeah.
I don't think Matt will take him to the ground or try to. He don't want them Sambo problems. Sambo. He don't want those Sambo problems. But he hits. He has a hell of a right hand, man, and if it lands, Fedor can go to sleep. So don't sleep on this fight, man. It's gonna be real great.
And your boy on the same card, your boy Chet Congo is going to be fighting Ali Thompson.
I'm a star. That's my man. That's my man. We talked before. Be like, hey, yo, Check, man. You look. I call you. I'm a stud. Yes, I know. I don't look like. I'm like, huh? He said, I don't look like it. He was talking about the actor. I was like, you may not look like him, but you look like one of the dudes that was next to him. So
he could have been an extra on them.
Yeah, he could have been an extra. That don't mean I ain't gonna call you Amistad because that's what you look like. Amistad. He laughed. Every time he see me, he laughed. Yeah. Tech need to win, man. He needs to win. I'm gonna take him in that fight too. Dude, he's fighting ain't no joke, but I'm gonna take him in that fight.
Word. Turning over to the UFC card from this for this weekend in Halifax, the fight night, headlined by Derek Lewis and Travis Brown. We've talked about Travis Brown recently. There's been a lot of questions about whether he's still in the same camp. He said he still is, but there are still other people saying that he's still with Coach Edmond. But and he said he left there, but he said he still is. He hasn't, he looked dominant in the past, but recently.
I'm saying, he's looked like a bum his last couple fights. And again, I'm not a professional fighter. I'm just a guy that knows his shit. But Travis Brown looked like a completely different fighter when he was with Winkleman. He looked like a completely different fighter when he was, I think he trained with the Black Zillions for a minute. That's when he was on that mean streak. Even if he took an L, he came back and looked good the next fight.
Right.
Since he's been with no disrespect, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Since he's been with Unibrow, he hasn't, Coach Edmond. 'Cause I just think he a con artist, man. He a dude that, you had Ronda Rousey, man. Ronda Rousey was gonna be what she is anyway, but she gave you a chance, and she made him. So to look back in hindsight, I think under him, since Ronda Rousey's been there, you look at all Ronda Rousey wins, you count those, but you can't count anything else other than 3 other victories outside of Ronda Rousey's victories. I just don't think he may be a good striking coach, but I don't think he's a good all-around coach. And that's not to say that he don't know MMA, because I've seen him fight before. He knows MMA, but I just think his strong points may be striking, and mixed martial arts is more than just striking. Striking is a great plus, but if you don't practice on everything, that made you, something's gonna break you, and that's how I look at Travis Brown. He ain't the same fighter, so I hope he's training with other camps. Maybe he's just using Edmond as a striking coach.
What do you think? What do you think Travis Brown needs to do to win this fight this weekend?
What he should have did, if it's untrue, is leave Edmond. That's number one. Be aggressive. Watch his cardio. He's good. He got a good front kick. He can use that front kick as his jab. I would love to see him, in a different team, man. I think Edmond is the biggest con artist. So if he is with Edmond, I expect him to lose on Saturday.
What do you think Derek Lewis needs to do to ensure victory?
I think he's a hype train. No diss to him. He calls himself the Black Beast.
Yeah.
Why can't you just be the beast, bro? Why you got to be the I know what you are. I know what I am.
He's kind of a funny dude, man. Like a weird, funny dude. Anytime I hear interviews with him, man, I'm like, this dude is like.
Whenever I hear an interview and he talking shit, I always rewind to that Sean Jordan fight.
It was funny though. On one of his interviews on the MMA Hour, he was like, "Ooh, man, he's like, I somehow got on the subject of Chris Cyborg, and he's like, man, I really like that Chris Cyborg, man. I really like her lips."
Me too. I feel it. Yeah, you know what? I take back everything I just said, man. Dude, we on the same page, man. Real shit.
But that'll be an interesting fight this weekend. So we'll see what happens between Derek Lewis and Travis Brown. To sort of close out this podcast for this week, want to switch the tables to some hip hop stuff. It's been as we record this on February 15th, it's been 18 years since the murder of Big L. Someone who I thought would be, he was in that transitional period of becoming one of the greats, definitely during that time. There was rumors that he was going to be, that Jay-Z was recruiting him for Rockefeller. And that would have been like peak Rockefeller. That would have been just before the Blueprint Rockefeller, when Beans was at his top, when they had that full stable of MCs and artists and whatnot. That would have been I think that would have been a perfect time and perfect place for Big L to be introduced to the world outside, us like hardcore hip hop heads, It's 18 years since his passing and we're still talking about this guy. He was definitely on this crazy trajectory to be one of the greats, you know, and it's sad that his life was taken. And you can only like question, you know, what were we gonna hear from this guy, man? Because he had some of the best lines ever in hip hop, you know.
Well, I can say this. I can say that maybe Jay listened to his first album, so now you know where Jay got his whole style from.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a L head, man. I'm talking about, you know, he was on Columbia. You know, he was, you know, when you talk about an MC's MC, Big L was, his punchlines were like the greatest. He had the greatest punchlines really I've ever heard from any rapper.
Oh, yes.
Punchlines just, man. You know, he had some, I mean, his shit, you know, his shit was just on such a whole nother level when you talk about the thought process, like how he said, "Ask Beavis, I don't get nothing but head."
Woo! That was such the hottest line, man. Woo!
Like, how did you even think about coming up? Like, how did you construct? He said, "Ask Beavis, I don't get nothing but head." Oh, hard.
Woo!
Been a lot of emulators. If you can go back to that circle, Jay wasn't rhyming like that. Jay sound like
Jay was on his first album, man.
Exact. Hey, enough said. That's all I gotta say.
Jay was on his first album, and he was just basically almost like an afterthought on that album. You know, he was a part of a posse cut, and
yeah,
and he and Jay didn't actually like, you know, stand out on that posse cut, man. It's crazy. Everybody else turns back to. Remember that? I think it was the Stretch and Bobbito show when both Jay and Big L were on it.
It was motherfucking a massacre on there.
Man. Mm-hmm. Man, and that was the time when Jay-Z was starting to make his ascendance, you know, as being who he was, and Big L was on there, and they went, oh man, it everybody talks, you know, that's still like in the hip hop lore of like a great hip hop moment, you know, with them two being on the same radio show, you know, one after each other, and just Big L just outshining him.
Yeah, L, you listen to his shit now, it's still relevant. He's still outshining 85% of dudes today, and his bars are timeless. You know, when you find a person that have timeless bars, man, it's similar to when you listen to Follow the Leader by Eric B. and Rakim. Like, I don't know what Rakim was on when he wrote that, but that shit is still better than 85, 90% of the shit that I hear today. So,
right.
L was one of them type MCs where you were going to feel them. You were going to feel them. If you love this shit and you love wordplay and all that, and you didn't feel L, you're a cornball, period.
And Big L had a distinctive voice. It was you could hear everything that every word that he was saying, but he had a distinctive voice. And that was something that was very unique about him.
L would have been, man, it's really hard to tell what it would have been. But I will say, and I keep saying this, listen to the first album, and you'll see where one of your favorite rappers may have got his whole style from. That shit is real. I see it, still hear it. You know, no diss to him, but we all take from somewhere. We
Right.
all be on some Jean Kundo shit, so you can't front that we don't use similar methods. But would it be obvious that you took some shit? Like, he's flagrant a couple times for taking some people's shit. So, he would have been the man on Rockefeller, man. He'd have been the fucking, like Columbia dropped the ball on his first album, similar to how they dropped Nas. I think the Streets made Nas, man, but and the Streets made L too, but Nas had a little bit more push because they was on the same label.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big L is still one of my favorite MCs to this day. I talk to him. I talk to Bump sometimes about him. A couple of people. I talk to OC a lot about him, man. They tell me stories and shit on how dope this dude was, man. And yeah, man, if you got his music, man, turn it on, man. It's one of them things, man, that no one should ever miss out on what real hip hop is all about. And he still is one of our generals. Salute to him. Rest in power, my friend.
Yeah, before we end this, what was your favorite Big L song or verse?
We got a couple joints, but we ain't got a couple. We got a lot of joints.
Yeah.
I love the Primo remix of Ebonics.
Yeah.
The intro from his Ruckus album is one of my favorite shits of all times. Let's see. I like the joint that he had with Kane. I like the joint they put together with him and Tupac.
Yeah.
And Big. That was L had his catalog is short. You can't front on the catalog, but it was super short. Let's see. Put It On is definitely, you talking about party records, and you talking about getting into Big L back then, man. Put It On, produced by Kid Capri was dope. The Tupac collaboration I was talking about is called Deadly Combination.
Yeah.
He got a joint called Flamboyant that I love. MVP as well from the first album. And then, he collaborated on a joint with my man, who I got records with, Mr. Cheeks. So, Holding It Down was dope. You on some radio shit. The Devil's Son was super dope, man.
Yeah.
Devil's Son never really came out. But that was super dope. That was more white label promo shit.
Yeah.
But Dangerous. Yeah, L got records, man. Internationally known. The Enemy.
Oh, The Enemy is one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites.
My God. Enemy is super dope.
Do you know what my favorite verse of his of all time is the his verse on Lord Finesse's Yes You May remix? Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
Yeah, that was on Return of the Funky Man. I remember that.
Yo, man, the Yes You May remix, dog. Fuck, man. Like his verse on there is ridiculous, man. I'm like I always have to throw that record on every once in a while, man. Just L
was a monster. And You listen to his music today, you still see he's a monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His whole style and everything is really timeless and still sounds super fresh, even here in 2017. So it's super sad that that his life was cut short, but his music will always live on. So definitely. That's about it for this week of Fresh is the Word. Like always, V Styles, tell them where they can find you online.
It's good. You can hit me up on Twitter, /VStyles, VSTYLEZ. Same thing with Instagram and Facebook with the /VSTYLEZ. My verified artist page on Facebook is Official V Styles. Official VSTYLEZ, all one word. And give me a hit. Let me know what you're thinking, man. I respond to everybody. But if you act a fool, you just made the list.
All right, thanks for joining me, V Styles. I'm about to go listen to some Big L. Everybody,
Big L, rest in peace.
Big L, rest in peace. All right, thanks for listening. See you next week.
Fresh is the word.